Yes. Oh my God. Welcome to this show. Diversity is the game changer. And today is really game changer show for me. This is my absolute first trio show. And look at me. I am so blessed and lucky because it's not just trio, it's with twins. And it's not just twins, it's exceptional. Of course, on my first three Trinity show should be the best one, and I have the best twins, right? I have not double trouble, but the double. I don't know how we can call it, but I'm so blessed. Thank you guys for being for me today. We actually sit in all three different places, but we are so joined by our vibrations already. We already pre-discussed a bit, and one of my guests you have already know that we had a great show, and during this show we actually discussed, we not back talked, not talked behind his back, but we talked I don't know, not back, but in front of his, I don't know how you say it, but we praised the much.
Yeah, that's a good story, Valeria.
Yes, why we are not actually making this experiment, and that's how we are. We're just doers. We decided, and come on, life is too short. We are here. So I would like to invite to our very special episode with my honorable guest, twins Paul and David Rosenberg. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Glad to be here
Again,
with the two of you.
Oh, amazing. So welcome, and yes, diversity is the game changer, the show where we explore the infinite ways that our difference or uniqueness, how I would prefer to say, in thoughts, experience, identity, doesn't just enrich us, it elevates us. And today we try to discuss with just very flow. We have enjoyable conversation. We, all of us, we do us. You do you. Paul, yes, David does himself, and I'm trying not to be overwhelmed because I'm so happy to have you guys. Yes, and meet today's guests, two brilliant, dynamic creatives whose connection runs deeper than most, and you can see it, right? Because it started before they were even born. And nobody knew that, actually. It's also that story, which I was like discovered on my show, like, really? Nobody knew? Because in that days, right, you kind of had just trust and imagination what is there. As twins, they have shared wavelengths their whole lives. But it's the individual journeys and shared values that make this story extraordinary that we are trying to delve deeply today. They began in the world of improvisation. I've been shared this special topic, not just on the stage, which we know with Paul, but in life, learning to trust instinct, to trust each other, the most important, and the organic flow of creativity. One brings sharp wit and bold edges, changes the decisions, we know that, just like that. Never knew in the beginning what can happen. The other brings a quiet depth and fierce intuition, and okay, I'm not taking marks from your word. Together they embody what it means to create in harmony, to challenge each other, and to inspire those around them to embrace difference, but not just another, but within themselves. So let's start now. Who will be my first today? Oh my God.
Let me turn it over to David first,
Yes,
because
probably.
This is my maiden voyage.
Again,
Yeah.
again,
Okay, so guys, who is the oldest one?
I am. So again, remember that they didn't know David was coming. I was born, and then 20 minutes later, they told my parents that, well, my mom knew because David crowned and came out, but my dad was waiting to see me, and then they came out and said, you have another son, and he fainted. So
Yes,
out of good news there. But let's start with David, because he's got, as you know, I never knew what I wanted to do. David was born a creative and always knew where he was headed. So David, ask David some questions first.
I love the idea how it's like, actually it was a silly question of me, who is the boss. Of course, if he said let's start with David, he's given the permission.
Yeah.
And first, of course. And then he let you to come 20 minutes later. So now, like, of course, he's like, let's start with David. So there is
All things come from the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, baby brother. Okay, baby brother.
So
You
then I
go.
start with baby brother. Yeah. So being a twins, tell us. Yes, I know already pre-story, but okay. The first questions to you. Being a twins, you had a unique mirror and support system from the start, from your big brother, right? How did that closeness, or maybe sometimes I don't believe conflict actually, but I don't know. It's this. It's the truth. Sometimes is born in discussions. So in childhood shape your confidence, sense of identity, which now I do believe that we all kind of from childhood, and how we think today, who we have become, that's our mindset, it's always from childhood. So I asked the same question Paul last time, how he believes his childhood impact who he became. So now my question is to you about your experience. What kind of childhood mindset or impact you believe you have on your life? And of course, because you've been, together.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I've never really sort of gone back to think about it. But with Paul, there was always, whatever was happening in the world, there was always a core feeling of safety.
Mm-hmm.
There was a core feeling of being understood. I didn't have to explain myself to him. He didn't have to explain himself to me. We understood each other. And even though we were very different people, to walk through the world with someone having your back 100% all the time is a gift, because it allowed me to do what allowed me to explore my own adventure. But I didn't need anything from the world. You know what I mean? I didn't need to have, I already had a best friend.
Yeah.
I already had a partner in a way that understood me implicitly. So to be able to navigate that journey with that kind of core belongingness, it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I feel the same, exactly the same thing. So took the words out of my mouth.
Well, thank you guys. It's you're so unique. Like it's, of course, it's so exceptional. It's blessings, right, to have a twin, sister or a brother. I always, I can be honest with you. I didn't have, but my mom, she has adopted a girl, and I pretended in my imagination, kind of, because we are the same age, that it could have actually been my twins, but we look differently. But my dream always was to have twins, two girls, and I was small, and I really, really like cherish the dream to have Michelle and Nicole. It's another story. I have adopted two girls from Ukraine, and I made them twins. So actually, I basically made my twins myself. So if somebody says that if you can dream it, you can do it.
Yes.
So I have Michelle and Nicole now, and because they were so small when they were adopted, right? So they kind of also look a little bit alike when they were just babies, and not until 3, 4, 5 years old, blonde, blue eyes. But now they're different. But they like characters were always different, like you guys. One like boyish, one like girlish, like But I made my twins, so that's why I'm so attracted to this special.
That's amazing.
And Paul shared that you actually knew from the beginning that can you please tell us, because I know he shared a little bit about your career today, but you kind of were so sure about your career path, while he was always like, I don't know what to do, I'm still this right for me. And I hope he's still
I was a mess.
He's so kiddish, he's so playful. I still believe that he's like, what I'm doing, I'm still young, maybe I need to change something, maybe I need
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I found very early that the way, I think people have like a way they respond to the world. And not to say that our childhood was all, roses and beautiful. There were some very rough times, but I found that the way I accessed the world and responded to the world was by writing. That was the way I could process stuff. That was the way I could take in, obstacles and take in things that seemed hard. And I was writing since, I think, since I could write. I mean,
Yeah, you were.
I was always writing. We're Jewish, and I wrote a Christmas piece for the local paper that won an award. Like, it's the way I saw the world.
Mm-hmm.
To take it in, process it, filter it, and create something out of it.
And so, no surprise, years later, here you are, a professional writer writing for TV and doing what you've always done. It's been wonderful to watch you, bro.
Oh, man, thank you so much. And it's beautiful to watch you, even though you were more sort of scattershot and looking for where, Paul. The great thing about Paul, though, was he was like, I mean, I already knew who I was and how I was going to respond to the world. And Paul was just out there all the time, trying different things. Like, that's a gift too. Like, I didn't need to do that because I knew it already. But at the same token, what a gift it is to see somebody try this, try this, try this, try this, try this, try this until he found his voice.
Amazing. In my, because I'm very good at imagining and creating pictures immediately, and you see, definitely, maybe I'm not that writer, but I'm speaking, I'm talking, and I'm listening to learn, because this is should be my own podcast, just facilitate. I'm not good at listening at all. Yeah, so I imagine, okay, you two sit in mommy's belly and you sit already writing, and Paul okay, what should I figure out who I am? But yes, that you are so different, but yet you are so bounded, and you're so, I do believe, you share the same very deep values, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, David talked about a core. There's a core. 50% of us is exactly the same way. Is how I kind of describe it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is great, because we're not the twins that do everything together. But as the stories we've talked about before, there's that incredible telepathic connection that's instant, and as David said, we didn't need any explanation. We could communicate in the moment, and oftentimes instantly, without using words.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Paul, sorry, I didn't mean to. Did Paul talk about our twin language?
No.
Oh,
Can you please share? No.
So some twins go through this, and some twins don't have it, but we had it, and it's a private language that shows up pre-verbal, and it's like a private language. It's like a structured language that only we understood. So we would communicate all the time. And if someone was listening to it, it's babbling, but we would communicate all the time and be processing things with that pre-language twin thing. And Paul, was there a story about that with the cribs, or was that?
No, that we can leave that for now. We can edit this part out, but yeah, so that connection, which is reflected later on as adults in the story about the shootout, and ask David about down the road the heart issue, because that's another great story.
Yes, please.
The heart issue. So I'm like, doing my life, my wife, my kids, we're doing fine. And suddenly I just get this I feel like I'm maybe having a heart attack. Like, I'm getting like strong pains and whatever. And I'm like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And I go to the hospital, and they can't find anything wrong with me. They can't figure out why I'm feeling these pains. And I called Paul when there's tough times, we call each other. And I called Paul. I was like, man, I just was in the hospital in the ER, and I was there for 10 hours, and I was having heart attacks, and they couldn't find anything wrong. And Paul's like, I just got back from the hospital with heart attack symptoms.
So
No.
So again, I'm in Chile.
He's in
David's in LA.
He's in
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, Chile.
And
I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, Chile. David's in LA, California. And at the exact same time, we both had those symptoms. We both, they couldn't find anything. I spent overnight in the ICU. They were doing blood gases. They couldn't find a thing. So when David called me, I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh man, wow. And the exact same time period, like it wasn't a delay. If you look at the time difference, it was absolutely synchronized.
Absolutely synchronized.
Oh my God. Can you
Stayed a little longer in the hospital than I did, but if he stayed overnight, I was in the hospital for 10 hours doing the same tests, whatever. But the journey started exactly at the same moment.
So I think this story is
how can we call it?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. So this is my view, David. You're the writer, so you'll say something more eloquent than me. But to me, it's like we're on the same radio station on the dial. We're at the same frequency.
Yeah.
And we have been our whole life. So David, you can describe it better than me. You're the writer.
Well, I mean, that's sort of a very sort of specific, cool way of saying it. Like we're in the same section of the spectrum. We're like, even though we're miles apart,
Yeah.
there's an underlying sort of, if you want to call it spiritual or whatever, there's this underlying sort of frequency that we operate on all the time.
And so if I can make a complaint, I don't know if I have to call lawyers or what, but when we've had these moments, they have not been like when David's at a party and I'm at a party, or we're eating good food, or we're watching a sunset, or we're with our families. It's not joyous moments at all. It's when the shootout, this heart issue, it seems to show up strongest when something is threatening to us or something bad is happening. So I want to, hopefully we can figure out, I want some of the good stuff. Like when David's at a fantastic party, I'm happy. Yeah. Right. It's not fair.
It's not fair, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if something is challenging the connection, then we're responding to it. Do you know what I mean? Like if Paul's in a dark space or I'm in a dark space, that's a challenge to the journey we have together psychically. So of course it makes sense that it would happen at rough times. But yeah, Paul's right. It would be, hey, whoever's out there, it'd be nice if you got some good stuff too once in a while.
Yeah. I have some theory as well, because I do believe, like you said, it's just my hypothesis now. It just hit me right now. Like, yes, of course, it's kind of unfair that why just in so challenging time, not like when you feel euphoria, why he doesn't have that. But then maybe God, or our beliefs, religion is the strongest creator, right? So that this feeling you can handle, like your heart, everything. But maybe at this time he could be without you if you couldn't take half of his suffering and pain at exactly the same moment. Maybe he could get really bad heart attack and he could be dead, or you.
Wow. Whoa.
Maybe
Wow.
I know, but maybe
that is such that's giving me goosebumps. That's like like call it a God shot, like an insight. Like maybe we're supposed to share it so that it doesn't overwhelm us.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's like so
Wow.
Wow,
when
Valeria.
God that you took, you know what I mean? You pulled
Yeah,
away.
sharing it.
Yeah, because sometimes when we have so much pain, then like my mom or me now towards my kid, I always say, oh, if I could just a little bit of your pain that you feel less. So maybe in this period, actually, if you were alone or him, it could have happened actually really, really some, like dramatic outcome.
Yeah.
Because
No, that is incredibly powerful, Valeria.
yeah, but maybe
What?
it's
No,
not
no.
actually
I
what I
mean, you see our faces. We're both like,
And we're stunned.
Yeah.
And look, we've
could be, right?
been on the road a long time. We're kind of old. So you're the first person that's ever unlocked the key to that. Like that is it. I don't have to question anymore. That is exactly why it happens.
Thank
So maybe
you.
you can write about this now.
Yeah.
Exactly, like for me, like now I've got, because I do believe there is no coincidence at all. And when you share me now that, I said like, wow, that's probably how you right share the pain, and that's you survived and you're still together and still. But maybe why? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is
Not
beautiful.
maybe.
Story.
That's it. That is a gift. That is
Yeah.
a gift. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you that we actually now you see it's how we are three, and suddenly one new truth is born. Maybe it's true. It will be very beautiful story for everybody. Like maybe that's we how we actually share, and maybe if people really share more together, maybe they really we can actually really have the power by frequencies to help people we love to little bit to take a little bit of their pain that they actually cannot get really stroke or something.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, David.
I'm going to throw something in here because I don't know if Paul talked about my work with wounded vets, but I work with, I do an outreach to severe guys who've lost legs and PTSD and whatever. And I sort of asked myself, how am I able to hold the space with them? Able to sort of hold their pain. And it's only because I'm Paul Rosenberg's brother, because I know what it is to connect. And he gave me that gift.
No, you gave that to me, but that David's work, ask him. Yeah, David's work with soldiers, the wounded vets, is very powerful. And what it reminds David and I of, if I can speak for you, David, is that we all have. You don't have to be a twin to make that connection. You don't have to be a twin to be synchronized. You don't have to be a twin to reach out and take a little bit of somebody else's pain. I think it's that awareness and that willingness to be present for that that's powerful. So David, any comments on the vets, that what you've learned from them?
Yeah, it's interesting because most of the vets are sort of, they hold back on sharing because a lot of people just want to feel sorry for them. A lot of people just want to feel good about themselves. So they like, thank you for your service, give them a hug and move on. And nobody, not everybody, but most people don't spend the time to just sit and listen actively. And what I've learned from them is that, there's a basic human connection, and they feel safe with me and I feel safe with them. And we create this space together where, they're free to be who they are, and they're free to express their pain when they want to. Like when I'm around them, I don't force anything. I don't, I just sort of a wide space to let it unfold, and we all have trauma too. Like, no, I didn't lose 2 legs in the war, but I have my own trauma, and Paul has his own trauma. So we connect on a human to human level.
This beautiful story, because Paul, I've shared already with him, I totally can relate, because my way to proceed my trauma, and I have OCD and sometimes really severe episodes, and I open my podcast actually, and the idea came in last fall while I've been on mental institution. I was 6 weeks on mental institution because I have very, very aggressive, intrusive thoughts, and many of them, they're really suicidal. So I know what you mean totally, and I know really sometimes you, it's so many different phases. Sometimes you it helpful a little bit in the beginning when people just feel sorry for you, but then, like you say, if people just like not present, not there, sometimes you want just to have space or somebody really here for you, just being present and like listen actively, because it's kind of the same, all this mental unwell being, right, how we go through. And now that's why I choose to be so open with people, which I also believe, like you and Paul. Now it's nothing, but it's not coincidence at all. That's why we connect, because we really know how to have space for each other. We can relate because we have our trauma. We have experienced so much, and still yet we are here, right? And we can understand, and we can look. Now we sit in 3 different cities, and we discuss really deep things. And when you share about, like, you don't have to be twins even, maybe to have this frequency, like you said, just humanity. Because my kids, I didn't give a birth to them, right? I have adopted. But believe me or not, when one of them somewhere there and I'm here, and they have pain in heart, my mom's heart, even we are not biologically, right? Of course I feel everything, because it's the same thing. It's totally the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm. So you're working with yes, veterans, and you are doing that great. So I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, no worries.
Paul, we have been discussed much with you, like diversity, right? And now I know it's backlash. It's just labeling in America. It's not the, you understand maybe already, it's not the subject of my podcast. My podcast was Diversity is the Game Changer. I actually spoke mostly about neurodiversity and cognitive diversity, or just that we have all our strengths, uniqueness, right? You are very strong by proceeding information by writing. Paul is very strong because he can be so bold and actually to do that magic changes, and it's how his brain proceed this world, right? So we all have right to be ourselves, and so many people now, especially so stressful and political situation. I'm Ukrainian, and I know you guys also have Ukrainian heritage. So many people, because of this stress level, if they already has a little bit problem on spectrum, we all on spectrum, right? But at the certain level. So what's your idea? And you meet so many different people, right? And you create many different stories, actually. So the whole your life actually about also diversity. Can you elaborate very freely about diversity of thoughts, about right to be diverse in this world, actually, which they try to take a little bit from us now?
So part of my experience, actually, my experience has been that in leading teams, in setting up companies, in doing all that, is that the diversity of thought, which is the neurodivergence, is so critical. I found that if I surrounded myself with people who all were mini Paul Rosenbergs, it wasn't going to work. So I took a risk on that young person without any experience, but we had a connection. I took a risk on that older person who's supposed to be retired, but can still add value. And, I've worked all over the world. I've worked on 6 continents. I've lived on 6 continents. And everybody goes, oh, how did you adjust to this? Or, oh, this is in Azerbaijan, or this place is in Sweden, or this place is in India. How you had to learn all the culture. And guess what? The secret is, you have to understand the local norms, but the secret isn't the culture. The secret is connecting on a human level. And that's, all this noise about you've got to understand where you are and whatever. So I learned how to connect in multiple industries, in multiple countries, multiple languages, and it all goes back to what we've been talking about, is that human connection. So a quick story, and then I'll be quiet, because you know me, I can talk forever, right, bro? Yeah.
Yeah,
I know the person.
carry on.
Yeah, me and Valeria, we're yappers. Anyway, so let me go back to just a quick story to the Ukraine connection. Our babushka Bausa was from Kiev, and one of the things that I learned from her is that she was in the moment, like she lived her life in the moment. The last time we saw her, we ordered ice cream. Dave and I each had 2 scoops. She had 5 scoops of ice cream.
Okay.
Okay. And
Wow.
she ate it before we even finished.
Yeah.
So the joy of just being, of just being human and connecting on that level, I'll always remember the last time we saw her, because it reminds me to connect and to be present and stop listening to all those voices in your head. David, I don't know if that makes sense, but
it definitely does. It definitely does, for sure. Absolutely. And our improv background too, like, you know, improv is based on what's directly in front of you and embrace it. It's the improv rules called yes and. Someone says something, you go yes and you expand. So living life that way, where, you know, grandma's eating, you know, 5 ice cream, amazing. You know what I mean? It's a great way to sort of navigate the journey, for sure.
yeah, that improvisational background forces you to be absolutely present and to listen. And so for anybody in business, those are 2 big things that I don't see a lot of. I see a lot of other stuff going on, but being present and listening and accepting what is. And as David said, the yes and is yes. The person on stage may have said X, but you can say yes, and you expand the story while you're improvising. Same thing in life, right? Yes, and be present, listen well, trust your gut.
Yes, thank you so much, because it was one of the question or the subject you have shared with me that we can discuss. Yes, the world of improvisation, not just on the stage. Of course, you had, because of but life also, it's every single day actually gave us these small and big challenges, big task exams with improvisation, right? But then you really have to learn your trust and instinct, right? But when I showed like this, I actually said, no, I'm like you, because you said I know the person who can talk a lot, and then I said it's me, but this is actually not show about me. That's why, Paul, it will be our next
you go for it. You go for it.
Yes, I wanted now, or not Paul, but David. David, that's actually, now I want your opinion about this diversity of thoughts and neurodiversity, and yes, actually your personal opinion, and also of course about your career, because you basically work with that every day, right? Different stories, you create different stories. Can you tell us actually a little bit more also about yourself and your career, and then you can just spice a little bit with the one
Rosenberg spices.
Yeah.
So I'm an interesting. Here's the thing about what we talked about before, about me knowing who I was. You can retire from the Writers Guild as a professional writer at 50.
Oh.
That shows you that it's a very young skewing career. Like, people run shows at 25. There's executive producers. Oh. I did not sell my first script until I was 38 years old.
Yes, that's.
Can I stop there real quick? And I did not become a coach until I was 38 years old.
Oh my God, God.
Go ahead, David. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
Wow.
I knew he was going to say that, because I know this about it. But so knowing who you are and having to walk that journey with everyone telling you, give it up, it's a pipe dream, no way, you're too old. And I trusted my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had a very unique, specific background, being a twin, being the children of left-wing anti-war activists, where they would drag us to midnight protests instead of going on picnics. You know what I mean? Like that was our thing. So I knew I had a specific voice. I just kept trusting it. And the first place that accepted my voice was animation. It was a field that respected neurodiversity. There were more women in animation, women directors.
Mm-hmm.
There were older people. I was old at the time. 38 was old in television. Like you're an old man, So I found a home where all those, neurodiverse voices were accepted. And look, I was on a show called Rugrats, which I don't know if you know. It's a show about the private lives of toddlers, and when they're not around the parents, you hear them talk.
Uh-huh.
And I had kids at the time. I was on a staff with 5 20-year-olds. But guess who came in with the stories?
Yeah.
Because I had kids. I know that world. I was able to share stuff that I witnessed in the moment. Like many of my stories are based on what I observed my kids doing. So, and from there, then every other project I worked on respected that different voice. You know what I mean? It was and writing, it takes away all the categories. You're expressing something bigger than yourself and who you are and who your background is. So.
Wow, what a powerful message to our audience, and again to myself, right? And because now, like, even podcast, now I'm dreaming of bigger. I would like to have my talk show, and I also would like to be a public speaker and coach as well. And now, like, and everybody for me, like, oh, you again try like something new, and you never sit on the same place, so you're never actually good at anything. Then if you try that and that, and then I said, why? It's just the way you're looking at that. For me, it's actually all this experience made me now actually maybe the best coach, because now I really have something to valuable to share, right? Yes. All my experience, then how you can actually mentor, give some knowledge if you don't have that much. But now I this year I'm 45, I have many stories and many already maybe skills I can really mentor on. So never give up, right? Like also
never give up. And also, I'm going to do a coaching here. Maybe Paul thinks it's bad for me to coach. Don't say I'd like to, say you will.
Absolutely.
Paul?
Say you will. Don't say I'd like to do this.
I'd like to.
Say you will.
A pipe dream or a projection of a dream. You say you will. You will do it. I always knew that I would do it. I don't want to. I don't know if I should share this story, but I'm going to share it because I think it's powerful.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, please.
In talking about dreams, and I maybe someday and whatever, one of my pipe dreams at the time was like, it would be great to be nominated for an Emmy, a TV Emmy, right?
Yeah.
And what I did is I turned that into reality. I got a file folder and I wrote on it David's Emmy nomination. I looked at it. I put it in the file drawer.
Yeah. And
I didn't ruminate on it. I didn't visualize it. I just created space for it. And 10 years later, Emmy nomination.
Wow, again, goosebumps. What are you doing to me today? These twins.
And I was able to print the nomination list out put it in my file folder.
Done.
That's it.
Done.
Done.
Manifestation, yes. And all your energy focus. Also, where you focus, energy goes. Power and focus goes.
Yeah.
The energy goes, of course.
Yeah.
And you, Paul knows this from coaching too. Like, focus, energy. What is your brain time? Is your brain time spinning wheels? Is your where are you putting your thoughts?
Attention.
Oh, yeah.
And
intention.
it's exactly we talk me and Paul in our podcast about his brilliant book Rock Leadership, right? It's the
Yes,
most important. First of all, breathe, pause, and go first inside.
Right.
Accumulate your energy. Talk to yourself first about your attention, your focus, right? And then just not to be even more like commitment carousel or to do more, but no, not outwards. Then
Inward.
inward, yes.
Inner work. Absolutely.
So have you read his book, or was it the
Of course I have.
Of course. Yes.
No, if not, I know the author. I can get you a copy. I'm in with the author.
Maybe
So.
set me up with something.
Yeah.
No, I read it. Of course I did.
Yes.
I think we
we
read early
discussed
drafts
that
and
last time.
Yeah. No, David was my pre-editor, so.
Yeah, I mean, I
both.
did all the sort of the big
Cleanup.
of it, sort of going through it and stuff.
The mess that it was. So thank you, bro.
My pleasure.
Yes. Amazing. And where then, David, about your work, then we have shared like all the information where my audience can reach out to Paul, right? And about his books and his coaching. If people would like to actually reach out to you to get more know about you, where they can find you, and work.
Yeah, I don't have a website, but I'm on Facebook, and I can, if people contact you about it, I can leave you my email address. I'm always it's funny. I'm always my wife's an actor and she teaches and we're around young people at the beginnings of their dreams. So I always read someone asks me to read something, I read it. It's not standard in Hollywood. I have really successful friends who refuse to read. I even asked a friend, I said, hey, would you mind? Oh, why would I do that? I get paid, hundreds of thousands of dollars to write. Why would I spend my time reading your stuff?
That's the best.
Well,
you call them friends now? Did you say friends?
Well, not anymore, but
that's why
you know what I mean? Like, isn't part of the joy for me, part of the joy, because my journey was so difficult to get to my dream, is bringing people along the way. Why wouldn't I read somebody's stuff at the beginning when they're just finding their voice? Why wouldn't I share what I know with somebody else? Like, it doesn't take away from me. I'm not losing. No. I'm gaining. I'm not losing something. I'm not losing time, wasting time. I get to explore a voice at the baby stage. It's like, oh, wow, like this is who they are. This is like, it's exciting for me. And I commit to it. I do it. I have a dear friend who's a lovely writer, and it took him because he's very busy, and it took him a year to read my stuff. Like, he kept saying, I'm gonna get to it. He did finally, because he's a good friend. But when I commit to it, I create the time, I do it. Because I'm
so proud of you. Oh my God, you too, boss, guys, because you are confirming exactly what I'm doing now. And I've got so many criticisms from not good friends, but Valeria, you are too naive, you're too kind. People in this modern epoch, they don't do like that. I said, to be kind and to be helpful and uplift, empower each other, it's always in fashion. And especially because I'm going to Cannes Festival soon, and then I've been it will be my third time participation, and some of girls, it's their biggest dream to participate in different events, and it's very hard to be there. And I have so many knowledge, I have so many contacts already. I put everybody together. And they, of course, for free. I take my time. I love helping people, and I'm never expecting what I can get from them tomorrow. I don't need that.
No.
It's me, my karma. It's my choice. I'm living like that. I'm teaching my kids. This is my karma in life. Why not? Because I have already made so many mistakes. I've already get through this pain. Why should I have enjoyment if the person I know, kind of good person, also should be like, get all this stuff, hard times? Why can I? Because it's like candle with light, right? Which is make warm everybody. You can put on thousands lights. This candle doesn't lose the light. It's actually, like you said, you never lose like kindness and love. When you share, it's bigger.
It's
right?
big, yeah. And Paul's a connector, and you're a connector, and I'm a connector. And look, not everybody, it's people try to drag you down because of it, and it's okay. Like the journey means more. If you can't share your experience, pain and suffering and good times, then and it just stays here. What's the point? Sorry, now I'm the chatterbox.
No.
Blah, 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 blah.
This was the whole meaning.
Share with us.
No. This was the whole meaning. We wanted you. That you're our president today. So I'm so happy I could sit and chat with you, because, like you said, when you have these special connections, then we don't have any boundaries, right? So we love each other, uniqueness, because now we became like the one, because and then
anything is possible.
More happiness, more help, more support. I'm so happy we have still the same values and people who still believe that no. Yes, of course, many people now, especially now, this political situation, it's so but kindness, I do still believe it will always win. And so guys, amazing. We've talked about improvisation, and what about this young generation? And now you have you both actually, and me, I made in Soviet, and I'm also this age. We have experienced the major paradigm shift, digitalization, AI, all became very like sometimes unpersonal, and of course your work career have changed, I believe, majorly, because now everything actually, not just in private, but mobiles and all that stuff, we have to adjust, all of us actually. We live in totally new world, right?
Right.
And David and Paul, what's your opinion about this young generation? If we could give them couple of advices how to actually navigate in the future, what they should really still try to be focused on, what kind of values, what never be out of fashion.
I'll jump in first on this one, since David talked too much previously. Here's what I found. All right, this new generation, some of them are switched on, some of them are not. Some of them are deadened to the technology and responding and watching their phone all day. And again, my advice to the youngsters is step away. The technology is great. It depends on how you use it. And there's imposter syndrome everywhere, where people, because of social media, telling them that they're not worthy and they're not beautiful and they're not smart and whatever. I asked, the folks that I coach, the youngsters, to step away. First of all, understand your value. And David, you'll love this. Understand your story. So when you're going out for an interview, understand your value, understand your stories, and understand who you are, and don't get sucked up into, I don't have a resume that or a CV that has a lot of experience, but here's what I can bring. And don't be afraid to be that person, because that interviewer is going to have 100 to 200 CVs, and they're all going to be the same skill wise. And what's going to make the difference? It's the connection to that company or the connection. And there's going to be some people like David who though it's a world market now. You can have your podcast, you can run a small business successfully from anywhere in the world. Don't get sucked into what social media is telling you. Use it to your advantage to amplify your own voice and amplify your own journey and your own stories. David, go ahead. I'll
Oh, wow. Like I sort of feel out of my depth in this conversation, but I will say the Paul's inclination to sort of step away. I think honoring your story, like when I started, I was old, like I was an old guy. Like I had to convince them that my voice was important. And that's how I got in, because I didn't trust the noise. I didn't trust society saying I was over the hill. I didn't trust that it was never going to happen. I trusted that I had something to bring. And, they were like, my first gig on staff, I was a surprise hire. Everybody else was 20, but everybody else was sort of the same. They were all smart 20-year-olds. And I brought this completely different thing to it because I had kids, and again, it was a show. It was a extreme sports family show, so they were skateboarders and snowboarders, and they lived on the beach. And I knew how to express those kid journeys. Wow. No, everybody else was trying to manufacture it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah, step away, cut down the noise. If you can, we just flew in from New York, and there was about a 23-year-old next to me who was literally on his computer, phone, and airplane screen for 5.5 hours. He did not stop. And I was just like, man, like, take 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So, yeah, I would say that. I would say take a little time. Take a little time.
Perfect. Powerful, magnificent, beautiful message. Although, again, to me, because I also trying to not be eaten by all these noises from social media, trying to breathe, pause, and ask myself like 3 things: what I'm going to do, or not say, but okay, but to do. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it give me personal growth? If not, I'm trying more and more not to get myself this commitment carousel just to be pleaser, because actually I also suffering. I'm really pleaser. Like, I'm always, even from, I don't know, small age, kind of try to earn to be loved, because I have very traumatic childhood. I was not good enough nowhere. So that's why I still believe many years I have to earn attention, love, so by pleasing people all the time, but then you misses your voice, right? Then if you're good to everybody, then you're never good to actually
for yourself.
And
you're not good for anybody.
Yeah.
Can I just make a quick comment here? Yeah, and this is something I learned. I did an interview with somebody called Rebecca, vocal athlete. She's one of the top reaction. She's a singer, song coach, and she also does all those reaction videos to music. Mm-hmm. And I talked to her, and she has over 1 million followers, and she sells her songs on her channel. It's been an incredible business. And I said, what was the secret? She said, I didn't start out to have 1 million followers. I started out to do what I loved.
You see.
Authentic.
Preach.
Golden rule, be out.
Can I get a witness?
Be out.
Amen.
Yourself, because everybody else is already taken. You don't need to be another version of anybody else in this world. But yes, it's challenging for our kids now and teenagers, because all these curated fake pictures, Instagram, and all this. Because when I'm talking to my kids, that you see, this is fake, this is not true. Life doesn't work like that. Even you, to put just this picture, why you click 100 of them and you just choose the fake, the best one? You never choose the real one. Why nobody put them like when they're crying, when they're, I don't know, miserable, when they have all this brilliance? Is it true? No, it's not true, right?
Right.
And we know that because we lived actually without phones. I was born like, I had like in Soviet, we had these block houses, and we have just this special phone. You have to go 2 blocks, just like,
To make a phone call?
Yes, with these 2 coins, like an
Payphone, yeah.
Yeah, payphone. I even didn't have sometimes two coins for that. So actually, and it was perfectly fine, because sometimes less choice is more. It's more freedom, because I knew what to do. I was not disturbed with all this noise all the time, like you said, 5 hours with playing. Poor brain. Can you imagine? Overstimulation?
Yeah.
Oh,
I felt bad for it. I was like, oh man, like, I don't know.
So I'm happy, guys. I do love, baby. David, you're in Los Angeles, right? Because I will be in Los Angeles probably 1 month in June. I'm actually would like to go to Stanford, and I was talking with Professor Lawrence there. They have like a new project about neurodivergent people.
Right.
I contacted them because I'm one of the first to actually write in PhD in one of my chapter about neurodivergence and be neurodivergent myself. So I'm kind of also part of this research. And we had very nice conversation. And they also, it's their new kind of trying project, just last 3 years. They didn't have it, but because the son of the professor, I believe he's on autistic spectrum. And I just reached out to them and said, you see, you can make test on me, because I am, and I'm studying myself, and maybe by me being me and having podcasts, talking to you guys, brilliant minds, we can share knowledge, share wisdom, share love, care, what we have done together. Today I felt it very. So maybe when I'm Los Angeles, you and me, we can go and chat, and maybe Paul is coming to us, and
yes, or we'll have here's what we'll do. We'll try to have we will have a really great time, and we will see if Paul picks up on it. If he receives the
let's do a test. Don't tell me if you ever meet. Don't tell me you're meeting, and let me see if I can pick up on it.
Okay.
Telepathic. Yeah, if I can be in LA, great. But the chances are not great. But it doesn't matter. You guys meet. Don't tell me when you're meeting if you are meeting, and that way I can see if I can feel the connection.
Oh, wow. Okay, we will be sitting like pumping. But actually, also maybe we will be so privileged that it will be part 2 or 3 when you can give us some little bit your stand-up comedian stuff.
No. Those days are over, Valeria. Sorry.
Okay, then I can be.
They're done. They're done.
Improvisation, right?
We can improv all you want, but stand up. My mindset says, it may happen again. It won't happen again. That's my mindset. But we can improv. We'll improv. Right, Dave?
That's it.
Okay, again, I could sit and chat and have so much blessing and enjoyment from my heart, so many hours. But I know now also in this very busy world, people, they don't listen this long podcast. It's not like I'm doing that, but it's still we can care a little bit. 1 hour, it's because sometimes like cognitively, okay, podcast over 1 hour, even if it's just 3 minutes, then people, I have no this 1 hour. But if it's like 55 minutes, okay, it's little hour. It's how we work, right? It's strange. It's strange. That's why always price is $4.99, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's exactly.
So thank you so much for being present, really present today with me, listening. I tried not to babble much. I hopefully didn't.
You're great. You're good.
You were great.
with this,
Thank
but
you.
we had very nice, lively conversation. I think that we can be role models, that people actually can do that, be present, and then always something new can be born, right?
Right.
So what a powerful, real energizing conversation. Huge thanks to our guests for reminding us that we can and we should always trust in our voices, honor our difference, and create unique experience because they're authentic, right? With who we are. In that way, we all together can win, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
my last. Okay, even now it's over 1 hour. I don't care because we have been playing with Paul. Now, David, it's your turn. Last year, it's my little tradition. The end of the podcast, I have this U.S. story tale. You know the fairy tale, which this lady is from. You know what it is, right?
Yeah, the Aladdin's lamp, the jingle.
Yeah, exactly. And we've played with Paul already. Now it's your turn. It's a little bit more this version. It's not 3 wishes, but one wish it can grant. So today I would like you to make this this little pink cutie the task. What wish would be just one wish if you could? It can be whatever you want.
One
Big,
wish, bro.
One wish.
but not to make more wishes. It's tricky one. It's not allowed.
Well, I would just say I wish for people in the world to find their light.
Wow, this is so beautiful. So now,
Wow, talk about preaching, man.
Mm,
Wow.
now I'm sipping. I don't want to overshadow this one. Okay, love you guys. Please take care of yourself. Always you do you. And I hope, yes, you, David, and me, we meet and we start telepating.
Yes, we'll start.
Sounds good.
Yes. And we have a plan.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you much.
And let's continue to be continued.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.